Good afternoon. Over the past few months, the House, the Senate, and myself have been working in good faith towards a budget compromise to hit our vision to become a top 10 state. Well, we had a little bump in the road earlier this week. We came together, we compromised, and I'm so excited to stand here with the leadership of both the House, the Senate, the State Superintendent of the Education community. And I am so honored to work with the Pro Tem and the Speaker. You guys have been fantastic this whole session. All my colleagues behind me, it's just been a fantastic year. First, let me tell you the biggest accomplishment that this legislature has accomplished this year. There will be no new taxes. We will put $200 million back in savings, and we will increase the state's investment in core services by another 5%. Here's how we did it. For the first time in state history, we are setting back an additional savings account of $200 million without the law forcing it. This is going to allow us at the end of this year to have $1 billion in our savings account. And for the second year in a row, state employees are going to be getting a pay raise. Last year's employees received on average $1,600. This year, the average will be up to $1,400. We specifically were concerned with the Department of Corrections. And so those officers are going to be receiving a 14% pay increase. It's up to $2 an hour. It's going to finally bring our correctional staff up to market. And for the first time in state history, our teachers, our hardworking professional teachers, are going to receive a pay raise for the second year in a row. And in addition to this pay raise, we will be funding the Reading Sufficiency Act for the first time. We're going to fully fund it for the first time in state history. And we will be putting an additional $74 million into the funding formula to let the local school boards and superintendents spend it in the classrooms how they see fit. For the first time in state history, we're also fully funding our road and bridge program of $575 million and continue to demonstrate being top 10 in infrastructure is a huge priority for myself and all of my colleagues up here with me. We are also prioritizing a one-time funding for the Governor's Quick Closing Action Fund, so we can make sure that we're always competitive with job growth and job opportunities that hit our state. I'm excited that we're going to continue to move the needle in criminal justice reform, investing in drug courts, diversion programs, and we are going to be fully funding our district attorneys so they don't have to rely on fines, fees, and court costs anymore. And this is going to take away any kind of perverse incentive that could contribute to debtor's prison. So let me explain the education compromise. First, this is something that is hugely exciting. For the first time in state history, we're going to end up being the #1 in teacher pay in our region. This is exciting news for me. It's exciting news for all of my colleagues up here and also the great teachers in our state. So some have heard that the controversy surrounded around Section G in the teacher pay raise. We have come to an agreement on compromise language that will require school districts on the funding formula to give an average of about $1,220 per teacher in a teacher pay raise. This encompasses 97% of the teachers in our state, around 49,000 certified teachers. This language will require school districts to submit in writing how they will enforce and sustain this pay raise, and we will make these documents available online for the public to see. So if you're a teacher that works in a school off the funding formula, there's about 1,300 teachers there. I strongly urge the superintendents, the school boards, to also give them a pay raise. This is critically important as we continue to move the narrative and the dialogue that Oklahomans value education. Because of last year's pay increase, we have more than 1,100 newly certified teachers back into our workforce. This is significant news, and it's possible because of the hard work from a lot of the folks behind me in last year's House Bill 1010XX. And I promised on the campaign trail that I wasn't going to roll anything back, that I was going to be elected to make sure that we ensure that momentum going forward. So that's why we're here today. And we need all elected school boards, superintendents to join us and get these dollars to teachers and to the classrooms. So I want to congratulate everybody behind me on all their hard work, the fantastic session that we've had this year. I feel the momentum in Oklahoma. I hope everybody else does as we continue to move and do the right thing for the taxpayers, for our education community, for our healthcare community, for our infrastructure folks. We are literally moving the needle. So I'm so excited to work with them. I want to turn it over to the leaders to give you some thoughts, and then we can open it up for some questions.
It's an honor to stand here. I'm excited. I'm not even having to feign excitement this year. This is a tremendous budget deal. Every year we stand up here, we come to an agreement. There's always a little bit of turbulence before a safe landing. There was never a doubt of a safe landing. It's been an honor to be able to represent the Senate, but it's been an honor to work with Speaker McCall, Governor Stitt. We have been in unison in trying to go down the road together, and we started off this session extremely strong. We delivered on historic reform, government accountability, and we are finishing equally strong. Last year when we made the investment in education, we said it wasn't a one and done. We were committed for the long term. This budget represents that commitment. This budget is strong on education. It gets more money into the classroom than we've been able to do in a long time. It funds criminal justice reform. It gets pay raises for state employees, and it delivers some reform. I am excited to be standing here today. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Senator Thompson, the budget chair for the Senate, and all the subcommittee chairs who've been working since last August to try to come up with a deal. Obviously, Chairman Wallace and your subcommittee working hand in glove together to move this state forward. This budget is one that we can all be proud of. It delivers on all of our main objectives. It prioritizes education, and I am extremely excited to be here today to say that the Senate stands strong behind this budget. We look forward to passing it with very strong numbers very soon.
You know, a couple of days ago we were here talking about budget and how close we were. I'm excited to be here today with the governor and the Senate to announce an agreement that will give certainty for the next fiscal year for the state of Oklahoma. I'm really excited on multiple points of this budget. First of all, we will have a historic savings level in the state of Oklahoma. Not only a savings level, but a plan to remain solvent, a plan to build and prepare for the next downturn and contraction, because we know it's coming sometime. Hopefully not my legislative tenure here at the legislature, but someday it will. And it's very wise, prudent, and smart to, in the years that we have significant surplus, to put some back and prepare for that. We would like the future legislature to be in a better position to handle that than perhaps we found ourselves in a few years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very excited in the House of Representatives to join in that next step of keeping our commitment to education funding. Last year, when we left session, we had moved from 7th out of 7 in the region in teacher pay to 2nd, and that was quite an accomplishment. It was difficult. There was a lot of pain. And a lot of people have memories of that. And so it's very important for the House of Representatives, and I believe the Senate as well, that we maintain our positioning and that we actually increase it. And so with this budget deal, we are going to move to the top, among the top in our region, solidify that position, because this has always been about the teacher shortage in the state of Oklahoma. In order for us to have had the success that we've had just in the last year with over 1,100 new teachers entering the industry, you have to be competitive, you have to maintain the top standing in your region. That's who we are competing against for these very scarce, precious, valuable resources. So we are very excited to solidify our position with that with this budget on that, as well as an additional $74 million into the funding formula. This will give our schools across the state the ability to come up with plans to lower class sizes, to address additional needs that they have communicated with the legislature. This budget also, I believe, is very forward-looking. I said a few days ago, I felt like it was on balance, comprehensive, and considerate. But it's also looks beyond this session. It puts us in a good spot, not only to achieve some great goals and objectives this session, but to return next year and have the opportunity to do that again. We are very excited that the County Road and Bridge Plan with this budget their 5-year plan will be back on track. That's very important. The protection of our 8-year ODOT infrastructure plan has been mentioned already. Additional funding for the most vulnerable in our state through $10 million for DDSD, wait list, and providers. Also for nursing home. There's additional compensation for nursing home care in this state for our most vulnerable people. These are just a few of the many great things I believe this budget accomplishes. The budget begins long before we convene in February. Although we have a constitutional mandate to complete this budget by the end of May, there's been a lot of work that has gone into this, a lot of deliberation, a lot of consideration on multiple issues. And I want to commend both my caucus and the House of Representatives for their hard work, their dedication on this budget, as well as the Senate. The disagreements that take place during whether it be policy legislation or budgets, they're good discussions to have. We've had nothing this year but good things to deliberate and debate over. And I think this budget is a compromise position, but it's a great position. I'm excited. In my 7th year of service to the House and to the state legislature, this is the most comprehensive, strongest budget that I've seen. And I think it's considerate of everybody in the state of Oklahoma. I'm excited to be here, part of this announcement. Governor, Senate President Pro Tem Treat, I want to thank you both very much for your hard work, spending so much time with me the last few days. And this is a testament. This is a testament to our ability to not only lead but govern in the state of Oklahoma. A budget does not get passed in the state of Oklahoma unless the House, the Senate, and the governor are in agreement. And I appreciate the hard work and their willingness to listen to the priorities of both houses in the legislature, as well as the priorities of the governor. Madam Superintendent, we're excited to be here with you today. Thank you for your support. We appreciate your input and help as we continue to advance the state of Oklahoma, not only this year, but I'm equally as excited about next year. Governor, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to our leaders in the House and Senate, Senator Treat, Speaker McCall, all of those members who are here that have worked so tirelessly on the budget needs of many different areas. We know that education affects every Oklahoman, and we know that this budget reflects the desire and the prioritization to be the top, to be on the leading edge, to be able to also give our kids a competitive edge. The full funding of the Reading Sufficiency Act, which provides support for our kindergartners, first graders, second graders, third graders, is critically important for giving them a strong foundation for life. But it is so important in this budget, and we are so grateful for what you have done there. We appreciate that you have listened to educators, teachers, and leaders in districts and in communities who say, yes, let's become the top of our region, and let's also ensure that we have the supports in the classroom to provide those services that our children are going to need to be successful. So this is a budget that provides that, and I am so grateful that you have made it a priority to listen and to act on what is important to Oklahomans. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.